Hey, welcome to 2024 and welcome to Keep Your Head Up Hockey. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm your host, Jamie. We got J-Dog in the house and we got
So
Coach Nose. How you doing, folks? Yeah, happy New Year. And sorry for the long break, but had a few travelers. We had to, have a couple drinks with the family around Christmas time. You know how it
Happy New
is,
Year.
right? But lots of hockey, boy, oh boy. We got lots to talk about tonight. Let's just jump right into it. But yeah, big happy New Year to everybody. Massive news here. I'm going to jump right into it. Corey Perry, an Oiler. Man, I don't know about this decision. Don't rock the boat while the boat's cruising and the boys are on a big win streak. What, 13, 14 wins in a row? I don't know, man. I really don't. I'm not a huge Corey Perry fan, but he's a tough guy to play against. I'd say, besides Brandon Marchand, he's the rat of the league. He's tough son of a bitch. He really is, and he's not a nice guy. Off the ice, on the ice, just not a nice guy. I really don't think I'd have him in my dressing room, the Leafs dressing room. Happy that we passed on that, but we do need somebody like him, but not a Corey Perry. But I'll throw this over to Nose. Coach Nose, what do you got to say about Corey Perry becoming an Oiler?
Yeah, we were talking about the boys and I after our men's league game last night. This Corey Perry, we were looking at him up, how he went to the dance, 3 times and lost. So, I mean, he's got some pedigree. He's got some swagger. Hall of Famer, probably. He won didn't he win the Rocket Richard one year? He won a Stanley Cup. So, I mean, look at that resume, man. It's for a league minimum, 38 years old. I mean, yeah, I agree. Like the Oilers they're rolling right now, but like Corey Perry played against the Leafs a couple times this year, and he was scoring goals. He was getting it done, and he was helping out even in Chicago. So on a good team, this guy is gonna help a good team, I think, as opposed to a shitty team like Chicago, where there's not much, the defense have to focus on the opposing teams with regard to any skill out there. So it's like, all right, well, Corey Perry's out there, we'll put a little pressure on him, and he probably won't do as well. But on a good team, when he's third or fourth line, like he still has hands, he can still cruise. So I think I like it. It's a good call. And as much as the Oilers, look at the end of the day, you're going to have lots of teams adding guys like Corey Perry to make that playoff push and to put him over the hump. And you got to consider the injury factor too. So what happens if guys go down? Then you've got players in there and you've got depth. And that's what you need in the playoffs, especially in the playoffs when shit hits the fan and people get banged around. You're going to need a guy who's tough and the Iron Man style Corey Perry.
J-Dog, what do you got to say about the rat of the league, in my opinion, Corey Perry going to cup contender now, the Edmonton Oilers? What do you got to say about that, J-Dog?
I think it's a good move. I don't think he's being brought in for the rest of the season. I think he's being brought in for the playoffs. What he's bringing that way, as far as the amount of times he's been to the show, the amount of times that he's been in the playoffs, the leadership. Like he knows he fucked up in Chicago, so they got nothing to lose by bringing him in, league minimum. He's bringing all sorts of. Listen. The guy's a fucking legend. It doesn't matter whether you like him or not. And I know we already know you don't like him, and I mean you knew him or personally, you have a personal relationship.
Went to high school with him.
Yeah, so that's going to send a different message than someone who's playing hockey with him. Or there's going to be a different, maybe send a different message is the wrong way to put it, but you understand what I'm saying. These guys are all professionals. He's a professional. Yeah, he's fucked up, but he's got something to prove now, and he's got something to prove for league minimum. Like we were saying, you were saying, Dylan, that he's got, he was scoring some goals against the Leafs. He's still got some game. He's still got the fire in him. He obviously still wants to play. And the thing is, come playoff time, you've got your fourth line sitting on the fucking bench, and he's a guy that's going to fit in with the top three lines. He can fit in anywhere. He doesn't have to be the best player. He's not there to be the best player. He's there to stir shit up, get you off your game, and not playing the way that you can play. And that's all he's there for. If he scores some goals, great. If he doesn't, they don't care. That's not why he's there. He's there to take you off your game. And
he beefs up your secondary power play too. Like he's
sure,
you know,
well,
like
yeah, it can. But even I think he's very underrated on penalty kill. That guy blocks shots. He doesn't mind getting dirty, and he goes in the dirty places too. Like he's not a big dude, and he still plays that Pat Verbeek style game. That like Verbeek was not a big dude, but he played like you look at the penalty minutes, man. The guy was a 500 plus or whatever, like he had over 1,000 points and 500 plus goals, I think it was. And and Perry's like he's very similar style player, not a big dude, but fuck around and find out kind of guy. Yeah, he's not a heavyweight. Let's not get crazy, but he's got game and he's still an effective player. If they can get past, if I guarantee you, he walked in that room, the first thing he did was apologize, and said he's got something to prove and he'll prove it to you. So I think it's a good move.
I agree with you there on the personal stuff. I think he's put that past and he's like, listen, I fucked up. I'm not that kind of guy. I made a mistake. He's one of those guys, he's not like a Evander Kane type guy that's constantly in the news for stupid shit. Like, although he's come a long way too, because we haven't heard shit about him. So he's grown up, he's matured. And Corey Perry, man, J-Dog or Jamie, he's got 200 playoff games. So
yeah. The other thing
experience
that I guarantee you happened is that the management went to these guys in that top line and said, "Hey boys, what do you think?" And I guarantee you they said, "Fuck yeah." That, because exactly. Because there's, they've got their first two lines, they've got some big dudes and they're not necessarily super physical. Like they had a couple dudes that are physical, but they got Darnell Nurse, and really, fuck, who else is really that tough on that team?
Not many, yeah.
Not many.
This is a different animal, guys.
Yeah, and you
Kane will drop the gloves too, right? Evander Kane will drop the gloves every now and then, but I hear you.
We've seen Nugent Hopkins drop some gloves in the last couple of years, so who knows? It doesn't mean anything come playoff time. You're a different player, and that's that. I honestly, I'd take Perry over 2 or 3 guys in the top 6 on the fucking Leafs, to be honest with you.
The Oilers scare me right now, man, and it looks like they figured out their goaltending too. So that was really the only thing they needed to sort out, and that's been
you're the team to beat.
It's a scary ass team over there in Edmonton.
Yeah.
You're the team to beat. There's nobody better. There's nobody better in the league right now. There's absolutely nobody better in the league. They're on fire. McDavid is just playing like he used to play. He's right back into the swing of things. But that whole line's firing. Hyman, oh my gosh, what a beauty he is, and what a year he's having. What another mistake the Leafs have made to let somebody go like that. But yeah, adding Corey Perry is definitely going to have depth. It's going to piss everybody else off that they play against. They need a tough guy like that to make a deep run in the playoffs. I think if they had him last year, they might have went deeper in the playoffs. Seriously. So I think that it definitely is a good move. Do I like the guy? No, I don't like the guy at all. But is he a good hockey player? Absolutely. And he's a tough son of a bitch that will get it done and literally wears his heart on his sleeve. And he has no money at all, not costing them a penny to get it done.
He draws a lot of penalties too. He draws a ton of penalties. And come playoff,
because everybody hates him. Yeah. Everybody hates the guy.
Like I said, he can get you off your game.
Oh, man, he'd piss me off. I was playing against him. I'd drop the gloves immediately with him if I could. He's just the type of guy that I don't even like to look at the guy. But you know what? He's a heck of a hockey player, especially in the playoffs, and excited to see what the Oilers can do this year. I wish
would you want him on the league? Jamie, would you?
I already said I didn't want him in our dressing room. I think he'd be cancer in that dressing room. We've got a lot of cliches in that in that group, little cliquey groups there. And you know what?
We fancy boys, too many fancy boys in that dressing room.
We'll talk about that later. We need a coaching change on the Leafs because, man, I've had enough. I've had enough of the fucking Leafs, and we'll talk about it later. I am so fired up to talk about it, but we'll talk about the Leafs a little bit later. But no, we don't need him in our dressing room. We need somebody else like him, but not that cancerous person. He's not a nice guy. He's just not. He's a good hockey player, not a nice guy. But that is it for Corey Perry. Congratulations to the Oilers for nailing him, because you know what? That's going to definitely bring some depth in the playoffs. Let's move it on, boys. Let's move it on for a great topic here. Patrick Waugh finally getting the shout from an NHL team, going to somebody that really needs them. The New York Islanders, to shake that dressing room up and to bring an edge. I think this is a great move by the New York Islanders. We're talking about a QMJHL finalist last year for the Quebec Remparts. Great year. They had 53 wins, 12 losses, and 3 overtime losses. That's a great year in the Q. And then they won the Memorial Cup. Like, that's a coach that can get it done. And the New York Islanders need a coach like that. And I just saw a video of him, recently, having a practice. It was almost like he was doing a bantam practice, smacking his stick on the ice, getting the boys fired up. I just absolutely loved it. And I'm a huge Patrick Waugh fan. Love him because of what he did to leave the Montreal Habs. I got pissed off being left in the net for too long. Goes on to Colorado. What does he do? Wins a cup. So he's a gem. I love the guy. He's a great coach. Man, I wish the Leafs would have got him, but it is what it is. New York Islanders have picked him up. I want to hear from J-Dog. J-Dog, what do you think about Patrick Waugh, like a Hall of Famer, getting the call from the Islanders? What do you think, J-Dog?
I am not as excited as you. I can't stand him. Every time that he talks, I'm sure that I intentionally put my wedding rings in my ears so I can't fucking hear him. I don't like the guy whatsoever.
Wedding rings?
I can't.
How many wives do you have?
Well, you have a wedding ring and an engagement ring, right? Anyway, but yeah, I can't stand him, to be honest with you. I think his attitude is horrible. I've watched, I've had a couple of friends that were teammates of his. They said, one of them said that, I'm not going to mention who. You guys will know later in the year when we get 2 of them on the show, but and we'll let them talk about it. But I'm not going to say who because I don't want to out anybody. But one of them said for sure, maybe one of the worst people they know. So I don't know. I don't know him personally. However, I know a couple of people that coached him as well, and they just great competitor, obviously, but cocky and arrogant as fuck. And that's not my kind of guy. I don't mind you being cocky and arrogant, but not to your own players. You want to be cocky and arrogant to other teams? Fuck yeah. Like my son, not a joke. My son, 5'6" and 135 or 140 pounds, smallest guy on his teams, playing a high school hockey, and the biggest chirping prick you've ever met in your life, and would fight you in a heartbeat, win or lose, he didn't care. But stick up for his teammates. Yes. Listen to him talk. You think, oh my God, I fucking can't stand this guy. And that's exactly the same thing with Patrick Waugh, his showboating and all that shit. And that bantam practice that you were talking about, I was watching that too. And that's exactly what it was. I have my coaching level is fairly high. I just watching him on the ice almost made me cry and laugh at the same time. I'm not a fan at all. Now, competitor, absolutely. Is he going to be good for the team? I would say yes for a year. Because he's going to be out to prove something and do everything he possibly can to make this team better. Because let's face it, they've had a good team for a while, but they're just they're more good on paper than they are on the ice. So I think that they could go a little further with him to start off with, but he'll lose that room within a year. That's my personal opinion.
All right. I wanted to say, though, the cocky and arrogance, that is exactly what the New York Islanders are. He's a perfect fit for that organization. He really is. But I understand, and I kind of agree with you. He sounds really arrogant for sure when he talks. But
there's some Europeans on that team. I don't think it's going to go very well.
Well, we'll see. But the fans are going to love him because they are exactly him. They're exactly him. So I think he'll fit in real good and be a crowd favorite. That's for sure in the Islanders building. Nose, Coach Nose, what do you think about Coach Waugh?
Patrick Watt, the greasy Frenchman, he's going to be coming out there ready to fire up the crowds. And the sound bites, I'm embracing the sound bites we're going to get from this guy all year long. I can't wait until they play the Philadelphia Flyers and we do the post-game interviews with Torts versus Patty Roy and the shit that they're going to spew to each other. Yep. Oh, yeah. And they are a couple of rival teams in the same division. So, you're going to get something. We're going to get some action there. I think he's a good distraction coach like Torts, especially when the team isn't doing so well and shit's happening. He draws the media away from the team. He helps the players in that way. And if the players can embrace that, and I think most players will, because it takes the focus off of them. And sometimes that's a huge psychological factor in especially in pro sports in general. So I feel like he's going to be hugely beneficial in that way. He's a real greaser, though. Like, he's had some history, some stories, couple wives. It's funny, I made the wives joke because Patty Waugh had the girlfriend-wife situation a long time ago. So he's right in there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Patty Roy in the league, man. I can't wait. I embrace it.
Yeah.
Bringing back the French coaches. Jacques Martin joined the Sens too. He got fired. We hadn't had a show since that happened. So been a few little coaching changes, and we'll see what happens with Patty Roy. But I'm looking forward to the post-game interviews. I'll tell you that.
I will just say one last thing with that. The one thing, the reason why I don't think he's going to make it, and I think the reason why he didn't make it before and lost is because you look at the kids today that are in those rooms. There's a lot of other teams, a lot like the Leafs, that have a bunch of entitled, attitudes. You can't push it around. This is our safe space.
Fancy boys.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that team has a lot of players like that. So that's why I don't think he's going to last very long in that situation.
I can't get the image of Austin Matthews in that fucking shirt he wore like before Christmas with the thing like that. We should pull that up. We need to.
That's just my again.
But too funny. Well, we'll keep the show rolling. We've had this segment before. We'll keep it going. Who's hot? And we've got to talk about them again. We talked about them before, but we'll talk about them again. The Red Hot Oilers, they're on fire. They've got 13 wins in a row, just unbelievable. A 13 win streak and just lighting the lamp. Like, these guys can score some goals. Right now, we're about halfway through the season. So they've got 13-6-1 at home, 13-9-0 away, which I think is a really good away record. Like, that's outstanding. 149 goals for, 122 against, 27 difference. But I think a lot of those goals came when they were really struggling at the beginning of the year. All those goals against were the beginning of the year because they just went on a record. Their last 10 games, 10-0. But they've won 13 in a row and probably making it 14, 15 this week. They're just unstoppable. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and Zach Hyman, Evan Boucher, Ryan Hopkins, all over 40 points. Like, that's a great core four for this team, or core five for this team. Connor McDavid, he's got 40 goals, 59 points. Draisaitl, 42 goals, 50 points. And then, 16 goals, 59 points, 22 goals, and 50 points. Zach Hyman, 28 goals, 45 points. And Bouchard, 31 assists, but 42 points. So they're having a year. They really are having a year. They're starting to come together. That coaching change was huge. And a coach can really, shake up a dressing room. And they really did with that one. And what a change it's been since he came in. But what are you guys saying about the Oilers? Because every time I watch them, it's just Stanley Cup potential now. Before it was ugly. Now it's Stanley Cup potential. Even with Stuart Skinner in net, like, he's just playing so well. He's got 21 wins this year, 21 wins and 9 losses. Like, that's just amazing. Save percentage, .830, not the greatest, but 21 wins. for a goalie, getting a lot of starts. He's got 30 starts. That's just extremely impressive, but a great team in front of him, right? So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the last stretch of the year, the next 38 games or so to go. We'll throw this over to Coach Nose. What do you think about the Oilers and the potential that they've got in front of them? They've got something to prove now.
Well, Jamie, you listed the stats, man. Their firepower up and down the lineup is unstoppable. They are dissecting defenses. I don't know how they prep for the games, but it's like they come out and they play a slightly different style game every time. They are picking on teams. They are finding their weaknesses. They're moving the puck with crispness. They're not making overly fancy plays. There's it's a dream team right now, fun to watch, and you don't want to face that power play now that they've added Corey Perry. They got Hyman, they got the Bush bomb from the point. Nick, I keep wanting to call him Nick Nurse. Darnell Nurse is actually providing some offense recently. So this is the team we all expected it to be. And they are a juggernaut right now. Who's going to shut them down? Who's going to figure them out? It's going to come down to an opposing team's coaching to finally go over the tape. If you watch their games, it's like a different team every night in the way that their game plans are they seem to be tailored to each team that they play against, and they just know what to do. Okay, you want to these guys like to two-man Connor McDavid. Okay, perfect. Hyman's open, Draisaitl's open. All right, we're going to put Kane against these guys. So yeah, you're right too, Jamie. The fact that the coaching changes helped out. So sometimes a fresh set of eyeballs on the team is a big factor where maybe there's more understanding, more cohesiveness between the team and the coach as to what they need to do every night. And fuck, man, they're getting it done. So good for the Oilers. Shout out to my buddy Roar Dog. He's a huge Oilers fan. So we'll be chirping each other in the coming months. But man, he's happy now, I bet. Taking shit, that guy. Good for him.
Chris Knobloch, like he's almost coaching like a great football coach would coach, but really, probably reviewing, the tapes before each game and really putting his time in. Like, this coach knows how to get it done. This is a different approach than, the old guy. I can't remember his name, but
Knobloch. It's all dick names, isn't it? Isn't there like a list? Is there like a thing online where they list
Tippett? It really is. Yeah. But man, this guy's no dick. He really can coach, and I'll give it to him. A big kudos from Keep Your Head Up Hockey. What a job Chris Knobloch has done with the Oilers, because it's impressive, because it can't just be the boys, it's got to be the coach as well, right? The coach puts his time in, and with J-Dog being a coach, I know he's going to have something to say about that for sure. So we'll throw it over to J-Dog. What do you got to say about the Oilers, J-Dog?
I don't think there's been much change up front, to be honest with you. I think it's in the back end. You guys like Ceci and Darnell Nurse last year that were like at almost zero or minus at this point. I think Ceci's +9. I think Nurse is like +13, or sorry, Ekholm, I think, is +13. These are guys that last year were absolutely atrocious. Well, Ekholm, I can't say that, but like Ceci and Nurse were not playing well last year at this point in the season. These guys have turned their game around. They're moving the puck. Like that first pass to the half board from behind the net is bang on every time. Every game that I've watched, I got a new Max 900 channel system here down in the Dominican, and I can watch every game. Doesn't matter what game I want to watch. So I've been watching a lot.
Love it.
And I've had vertigo for the last week, so I've had nothing else but to watch with the games, and I can watch them on rewind. So anyway, all the
900 channels, J-Dog.
Yeah, I know, and most of it's sports. It's awesome. But anyway, I'm finding that
bite my
it's their
tongue here.
their defense. Their defense is you need parental control for that, and I'm not old enough. So, anyway, I'm finding their defense are moving that puck a lot faster, a lot cleaner, and they're not giving it up as much. And they're not out of position like they were lots last year. So I would say that does come down to some coaching and maybe pointing out some things in a better way, in a better light. The new coach might be a little better at that. And obviously goaltending, Skinner's been Skinner like for a bit. He's pretty solid goalie. I like him. And I think his attitude with his defense like you see, if you watch the games, he's actually one of the more talkative, at least it seems like he is one of the more talkative goalies as far as communication is concerned with his defense. And I think I didn't see that last year. I didn't see that at all last year. And obviously that's lacking from the Leafs, which, we'll always ring around to the Leafs. But I think that's probably one of the biggest problems. There's a lack of communication. If you have good goaltending and you have defense that are willing to listen to their goalie, because let's face it, defense, most defensemen, they're big, tough dudes, and they have attitude, right? Like a lot of them. And they don't like being told what to do. And they, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I've coached a ton of them. And, I've played with a lot of them as well. And if you get a guy that, like, the goalie's looking up ice, like, why wouldn't, when you're facing the goalie and the goalie tells you something, why wouldn't you listen? You know what I mean? Don't do what you think you should do. Fucking listen to him. He's on the ice more than you are. Pay the fuck attention. Goalies tend to be a lot smarter. Well, they are facing vulcanized rubber at 105 miles an hour. I don't say they're a lot smarter, but the intelligence of a lot of goalies is usually, their IQs are usually fairly high.
Their hockey IQs. IQs are pretty high.
Yeah, hockey IQ. Well, they're on the ice the whole time. They see the whole game all the time from the same point of view. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, if you get guys that pay attention, a goalie that pays attention, and they're not just out there doing their thing, that actually pays attention to the whole game. And you'll know by just talking to them, you can learn a lot from goalies.
But going back to the coaches, though, like a fresh voice makes all the difference. It's kind of funny because I coached my son's team with the other assistant coach the other night, and we got another win, and we scored like the most goals we had, and the main head coach wasn't there. So it's kind of this joke where it's like, even at that age, even at those grassroots kids levels, like sometimes a different voice in the dressing room, a different pregame speech, different attitude, different energy can really make a team, perform differently and better in a lot So
absolutely,
there's tons of times, at least I'm sure, Jamie.
There's tons of times where I'll tell you little strategies. You got your team's playing well. They're playing against a team that they should beat, and they beat them, but they don't do everything that you think they should have done, even though they played well. I used to go in there, I'd kick the fucking garbage can over and garbage everywhere and swear and curse and whatever. And they're like, we're winning. But yeah, but you're not playing fundamentals. You're winning because you're better than them. You're not playing the fundamentals. Get back to, your basics. Come inside the fucking blue line. As you're the centerman, you should be down behind the fucking goalie. Like, when you're like back checking, like if the puck's behind the net, so should you be, like guys on the half boards, like when you're wingers, collapsing in on the net when they're, like when there's pressure, like that kind of shit. When you're playing, you got a highly skilled team like the Leafs, they don't do that shit. The good teams, the hardworking teams, you look at Vegas. Vegas is a fucking hardworking, fucking, bring your lunch bucket to work kind of team, blue collar boys. And, that it's all hard work. And if you can get a skilled team to start playing a fucking blue collar type game, fuck me.
Well, speaking of who's hot, like that's perfect segue right into the Winnipeg Jets, Jamie.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to move on to the Jets now. Shooting Top Gun in the team. West. The Jets are, wow, what a team.
Second,
yeah.
Who said what?
Yeah, beginning
at the start of the year, first show. Who said what?
Yeah, J-Dog said, watch out, and he was damn right. They're just on fire. They're a great team when they want to play hockey, and most nights they're showing up and outplaying, out skating, out hitting, out shooting, just damn right outplaying everybody that they're playing against. And they deserve everything. They've worked hard for it. They really have. So 16, 6-2 at home, 14, 5-2 away. Another great away record. These two teams that we're talking about, Oilers and the Jets, great away records. 146 goals for, 102 or 104 goals against, a 42 differential. When you're scoring 42 plus goals halfway through the year, you're going to win a lot of hockey games, and they're doing so. Mark Sheffley, 41 points, 14 goals, 27 assists. Eilers stepping it up, having a good year. 16 goals, 19 assists, 35 points. Josh Morrissey, Canadian boy, just love him. He's got 7 goals, 26 helpers, 33 assists. And then Cole Perfetti, another Canadian boy, 14 goals, 16 assists, 30 points. Love this kid, Cole. Man, this kid can play hockey. And then Kyle Connor, too, right there, 29 points, 18 goals, 11 assists. But I got to say, Vezina trophy for this guy. He deserves it. Connor Hellebuyck, boy, man, this guy is stopping pucks. And talk about a goalie that helps his team and sees the ice, just like J-Dog was talking about. Man, this guy talks the whole game. He's a team player. Give him the C. This guy deserves the C for the Winnipeg Jets. He really is getting it done. He deserves the contract he got this year. But goals against average, 217. Save percentage, best in the league, 925. Like, that is just outstanding. 23 wins, 8 losses, playing a lot of hockey, but really just absolutely standing on his head, playing some great hockey. Loving this kid. Really loving this kid. But I got to say, Sheffley's a beaut too. He's had a great year. And actually, over the last 15 games, he's really stepped it up and scored a lot of goals for them. I've got to say, too, whenever they're on the penalty kill, they're killing it. They've got a great penalty kill, but really control the hockey games that they're in. They outwork anybody that they play against, and they really deserve being halfway through the year where they are. And a big kudos to the Winnipeg Jets from Keep Your Head Up Hockey. We're going to throw it to Coach Nose. Nose, what do you got to say about the Jets?
I'm scared shitless when Connor Hellebuyck puts on that American USA jersey and he's going to be playing against the Canadians in any sort of international hockey, because this guy is unbeatable. They're talking about Hellebuyck. Not only will he get the Vezina, he might even get the Hart Trophy. And like, there might be a clean sweep in Winnipeg with a lot of trophies, because I'm pretty sure Bonus is going to get the Jack Adams too, the way he's coaching that team. But a good coach makes a good goalie, and it's just like a good quarterback, and it makes a head coach a champion as well. So that's kind of where we're at with this guy. And he's zeroed in. He's one of those goalies that just you just love to hate him when you're playing against him, because you're like, you can't get the puck past this guy. What's he doing? How many horseshoes up the ass? I will say this about the Winnipeg Jets, though. I went to the game on Saturday against Ottawa.
Right.
They're a boring fucking team to watch, man. I honestly think they are. They truly are. They play and well-intentioned, like, good for them. They play around their goaltender. They protect their net. They play like simple, basic hockey, fundamental hockey, like J-Dog was talking about. They move the puck. They don't try anything fancy. You will never, so I shouldn't say never unless it's Connor Hellebuyck, but you won't see any highlight reel goals really from the Winnipeg Jets. It's you come in, you pass it around, and the puck's in the net. And it's simple, cohesive team hockey. The team has amazing chemistry, and they're not the funnest team to watch, but they win hockey games, and they're loving it in the peg right now. It's cold as fuck over there, but their team is hot.
Damn hot they are. Dog, what do you think, bro?
Well, like I said, I called it at the start of the year. I think they're in the Cup final this year again. I guess they were before, but I think they're going to be in the final. I think plus minus, boys. Three people in the minus on the whole fucking team. Three people. Their defense are friggin' like some of them are in the teens for plus. Like you're not getting any better than that. You don't see that. That is Stanley Cup winning team right there. That's that kind of material. You know, anything can happen. I'm just saying. Adam Lowry, as I said at the start of the year, that change with the C is the number one reason they're where they are. That he took over that room. Last year at the end of the year, he fought Revo there and pounded the fuck out of him. And they fought 2 or 3 times now, I think. Revo's supposed to be the toughest dude in the league, or him or one of the, and Lowry goes to bat for his team. They all know that when he's on the ice, it's not just him. There's a couple other big dudes on that team. They're a big team. They're a heavy team. They're a good checking team. They're a very good forechecking team. And like I was saying earlier, they come back, they collapse, and fundamentals are great. But I'd say the one thing that I see from last year to this year, you look at Scheifele, and his attitude last year was pretty piss poor. You could see he was a different player than he had been before. Last year was, I think he's their best player. I think they were looking to him for leadership. His hockey IQ is off the charts. He's guaranteed to be a coach when he's done, or management. He knows everything there is to know about hockey. He's one of the most intelligent dudes in the NHL when it comes to hockey. And I think if you look at the way he talks to his team on the bench, in between, like every time he sits down, he's got something to say. Every shift, he's got something to say. That when you got your leadership that's that involved in the game, and same thing with Lowry. Lowry's always talking. Nemestikov, I don't always say his name horribly, but anyway, that kid was quiet as fuck before. Look at him now. He's talking. He's having fun. He's playing a great game, and their defense, you can't say enough about their defense. They're big and heavy. They play that stay-at-home game, and they make great first passes, and they're jumping in, but they're not being stupid about it. They're not jumping in just, oh, look, I have a chance. They're jumping in when there's a good chance, and they know that there's somebody to cover for them. They're not jumping in just because they have a chance. It's methodical. Like you said, it's boring. But you look at the worst. If I'm playing against them, you need to pick up your pace because they clog up that center ice better than any team in the NHL. To get past the red line is a fucking problem. And they're a big team with a lot of reach, and they have speed. Their big boys have speed. So they're going to be, and there's no point in talking about Hellebuck. You can't say any more about them. So that's my view on them. And I'm pretty sure they're going to go deep. I think they're going to be in the final.
Yeah, it definitely is possible. They're having that type of year. Yeah, they're going deep. The Winnipeg Jets are going deep. We heard it from J-Dog, and keep your head up, hockey first. But we got to move on to one more team. We got to say it. We got to bring it up. The crazy Canucks keep it rocking and having a great year, and they're not stopping. 17-4-1 at home, 15-7-3. Another great away record. You can win at home, but if you can win away, man, that's the full package. 178 goals for, 119 goals against. But I got to call it out, man. JT Miller is having a year. That guy is just every night, just getting points, assists, goals. And when it really matters, when he's on the ice, he's really making it happen. Elias Pettersson, 61 points. He's got 25 goals, 36 assists. Quinn Hughes, I called it too, beginning of the year. Their defensive core is solid. And Quinn Hughes stepping it up. He's got 57 points, 12 goals, 45 assists, really feeding the puck well. But a lot of shots from the point for those assists as well, right? Brock Loser, 27 goals, 19 assists. And then another ad that they added, Philip Hronek, top 5 in scoring, 36 points at 33 assists with 3 goals. So definitely rocking and rolling. And I got to say, too, Tyler Myers, not a big
Physical.
scorer. He's got 18 points on that team, but he's a Canadian boy, a big boy that you don't want to fuck with. And he plays hard every night, too. So a big shout out to him. But man, Demko, one of the best goalies in the league, too. Right behind, I got to say, right behind who we were talking about before, Hellebrook, right behind him. He's having great. Thatcher's having a great year. 2.4 goals against average. Save percentage 922, 25 wins, 8 losses. So playing a lot of hockey, but stopping the puck and keeping them in those games that are tight. But yeah, they're rocking and rolling. They're on a 3-game win streak, 8-1-1 their last 10 games. Actually, they're on a 5-game win streak, and they are 6-1-3 in their last 10 games. I apologize. But really, no, I was right. Sorry, 8-1-1 last 10 games, win streak 3. Apologize, getting messed up with my little cheat sheet here. But I'm telling you, they're rocking and rolling here, playing some great hockey. But what do you guys got to say about the Canucks? They keep it going. I don't think they're going to stop. They're going to go deep in the playoffs. We're going to throw it over to Nose and then go with the other coach, J Dog. But go ahead, Nose.
Man, we've talked about this team so much. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. The one thing I hate about this team is that they're built like the Leafs in a lot of ways, with skill and speed and goaltending that is middle of average or comparable. I think Demko's not a lights out goaltender like a Hellebuck or whoever else on Vegas, whatever his name, Hill. Kind of pisses me off watching this team because they did nothing last year. They were supposed to be good. They got the same group of guys, but they found a way, and they beat the Leafs last week, and they just outscore teams. They just come in firing and outscore teams, and that's what the Leafs need to do. So, yeah, good for Vancouver, good for Canadian hockey, and all the Canadian hockey teams are doing well. And we'll see what happens come playoff time with these guys.
Yeah, J-Dog, any comments on the Canucks before we move on from who's hot?
Another the whole team is plus or at 0. You can't how do you fight that? Like, how do you argue that when there's nobody on your team that's minus? Not one person. You're looking at a team that plays very cohesive hockey. They play as a unit. Every unit that goes out. The coach is the exact opposite of what the Leafs have. The lines stay together most of the time. He's not mixing them up and allowing them to have that cohesiveness. Even if you have a bad game or two, so the fuck what? Have a bad game or two together. You got to go through adversity together to be able to be good together. If you don't go through that adversity together, if you don't do that, you're not gonna fight for the guy next to you. You got a new guy rolling in every week on your line. There's no cohesiveness. You're not going to feel that brotherhood as much. And as far as the goaltending is concerned, I think Demko is actually very good. He's calm. I think he's a calming person. I think he has that type of mentality that if you just look at him, he doesn't show any emotion. And to have that positive, not showing emotion, nothing gets him down kind of, that gets the team having a confidence. And then 6'8" fucking Myers. That guy's been leveling people this year. This is the hardest physical year that I've ever seen him play. And I don't know what Burr got under his fucking saddle this year, but I'll tell you, if he would have played like this his whole career, he'd have 2 or 3 Norrises under his fucking belt because he's playing phenomenal hockey. He's not making the mistakes that he used to make. He'd shy away from the physicalness sometimes, and I think it brings something to, not just to his game, but to everybody on the ice, and the whole bench. You watched, like when they were playing the Leafs the other night, man, oh man, like you could all of a sudden every Leaf player's head could turn 360 degrees, like they look like a bunch of fucking owls out there. Where's fucking Myers? You could see
watch out.
It was a different game when he was on the ice. And I honestly think too that when you have that kind of a coach, who likes to fucking, he likes to, if you're doing something wrong, he's gonna fucking shit on you. And then his backup coach is exactly the same. They're just they're guys you want to fucking play for. Those are the hero type fucking players that you wanted to be like when you were growing up. And you want to play for these guys. The stories these two fucks would be telling in the fucking change room alone. These guys are storytellers. They're going out when these guys go out for team meals and shit like that. They're not fucking listening to the other players. They're listening to the fucking coaches.
For sure.
What happens off the ice is just as important as what happens on the ice when it comes to coaching.
Yeah, I hear you. But yeah, no, the Canadian teams are rocking it and rolling, and a big shout out to all three of them. Keep up the good work. I hope that the Leafs here, turn it on here in the last half of the season. We'll talk about them here in a moment. But who's not hot? And I'm sorry, Brennan, he's not here tonight, but we got to throw him under the bridge because boy, oh boy, it is ugly in Ottawa. Oh my God. I tell you, every time I bet against these guys, they win a game that they shouldn't have won. And then every time I bet against them or for them, they lose every single time. And I'm getting sick of it. So I've learned my lesson. Just don't bet on or against Ottawa, period. Just leave them off of the pro line. But yeah, 12-11-1, 5-13-0 on the road. And that's what I'm talking about. You get wins on the road, it keeps your year going. If you can't get wins on the road, it's not good. 143 goals for, 154 against. And, Stützle, 43 points, 10 goals, 33 assists. I thought this guy was a goal scorer. Claude Giroux, 14 goals, 25 assists, 39 points. Brady Tkachuk, 19-18 for 37 points. It's just not been good. Korpisalo, an 870 or 887 save percentage, a 3.56. That's not good at all. And then Forsberg, who's supposed to be I thought was going to be their big savior after the trip to Sweden, comes back and just been playing terrible too. A 335 goal against average, an 889 save percentage, and their wins it's laughable. How does this team have such a solid team on the paper and just doesn't transition every single year? Yeah, they had that deep playoff run and they lost to Pittsburgh. Who cares? They can't get it done, and their fans are getting right pissed off, just like the Leafs. Trust me, I'm pissed off too as Leaf fan. But I can just imagine how fucking pissed off I would be if I was an Ottawa Senators fan, a diehard. You see this team okay, finally, I'm gonna have a good year. We're gonna make a run. Nope, just fucking shit in the fucking bed every fucking game, and they can't stop a fucking puck. It's gotta be concerning for the fans and really for the stakeholders. I got a friend who owns the Ottawa Senators. Do something. They've already changed the coach. They brought in a veteran, and they're still not getting it done. And I don't even know why you keep going to the games, Dylan, because to be honest, I wouldn't spend a fucking penny on this fucking team. Fuck
They're
them.
cheap.
I was the freaking fan.
The tickets are cheap. They can't give them away. They're paying me to go.
I would be so done. I wouldn't pay a penny to go see them. I wouldn't ever go to a game again until they start winning hockey games. Because right now, I'm not going to a Leaf game. Hell no. With the price of tickets.
I'm going to guess you've bet a lot of money on that.
I am sick of it for the Ottawa fans because they deserve better. And this team on paper deserves to be way better. So what the hell is going on? Dylan, you've been at live games. Why are they keep losing hockey games? Because in my head, I'm I'm shook. The team's amazing on paper. This year I thought they'd do good. What's going on?
That last game against Winnipeg was abysmal. I couldn't even. I was out there yelling. I was like, what do you do? What do you do? Why are you making that the entire time? My kids and I were all saying the same thing. What are you doing? This is the NHL. Like, let's go. And my kids are even more pissed because they never saw a shootout and they couldn't even get to the shootout. They lost in overtime. They just can't put together a solid 60, man. That's the problem. They're a team that will show up in one out of 3 periods. You don't know which one it's going to be. And that's a lack of leadership. That's a lot of doubt on that bench, a lot of concern. I question Claude Giroux's leadership on that team, but I also think he's so goddamn frustrated with everybody. The way they try to move the puck, the plays they try to make, it's bad hockey. It truly is. They show up on certain nights. They've shown up against the Leafs, I guess. That's all they fucking care about. It's all their fans around here care about is beating the Leafs. So if they went 2-80 and they beat the Leafs in those 2 games, like that would be a winning season for them. And that's part of the problem. Like, give it up on the Leaf hating and just get out there and focus on being a good hockey team and show up at your barn and cheer your team on and support your team. But it's a sad state of affairs here in Ottawa, man. It's rough. But at least the tickets are cheap. No one's going to the games. They're giving them away.
Still, not even worth a penny. Not even worth a penny. Seriously.
Listen,
I've got a pair of tickets, I'd piss on them. I literally would piss on them. Like why even go? But anyway,
it costs you like $80 when you're there anyways, because you got to buy the beer and the popcorn and everything else. It's so egregiously overpriced.
What do you got to say? I'm sorry, Brennan Ben, but I feel for you, Ben. I really do as a co-host. And that's why I'm so fired up, because you guys deserve better. This team deserves better. And I really hope that they turn it around in the second half of the season, or they make some trades to get better. Like, do something rather than just shit the bed every night. Jay, what are you going to say, man?
I think you guys are fucked. As far as this team is concerned, there's 4 fucking players on this team. The rest of the team is a bunch of fucking no-names. Having this expectation of a fucking team that has nobody on it. You've got the only player that I think is worth talking about might be Batherson. Tarasenko hasn't done shit in 2 to 3 years. Chychrun's not doing shit. Sanderson's not doing shit. Norris, yeah. But Stützle is an unproven player with expectations on a shit team to be a franchise player. It's a shit team. There's, Tkachuk is a leader somewhat. He's not a fucking NHL team leader. I'm sorry.
He's not Matthew. He's not Matthew Tkachuk, that's for sure.
No, but he's not. He doesn't have that IQ. He doesn't have that intelligence. He will do everything for his team physically, but he's not. You're not going to him for advice on fucking how to play a fucking penalty kill or how to play a fucking power play. That's not the guy you're going to. I guarantee you that. The hockey IQ is not there. He's like I would say he's second line on just about any other team, maybe even third line on some teams. He's a leader as far as his physicality. He's a leader as far as his grinding out every game. He plays with heart. I love the way he plays. However, his mentality is fucking zero when it comes to playing smart in important parts of the game. He gets stupid fucking penalties because he's sticking up for his teammates. Well, sometimes your teammate needs to take a fucking beating, and which you should maybe be giving it to him because of the way he's fucking playing in practice instead of fucking, like getting on somebody else for beating him up when he's playing a game. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, sometimes you have to have players learn on their own, and stick up for themselves. That adversity that I was talking about earlier, he doesn't have to stick up for the whole fucking team.
That's what they need, Jay. A good in-practice dusting.
I would love to practice. I would love to run a practice on this fucking team. I'm not joking. I guarantee you they'd be a different fucking team when they were done. I'm 54 fucking years old. What are you going to do? Beat me up? I would fucking throw these guys on the fucking ice and shake the fuck out of them and say, what the fuck are you doing? You're making millions of fucking dollars and you're doing absolute shit. And it's not, the thing is though, the expectation. And you've got 4 players. Claude Giroux, he's he's done. I don't
Half
think
the time.
he's probably he'd be good third line on a team like the Oilers or a team that's going somewhere, but he's not a guy. He wants to be on a championship team. He doesn't want to be there. Neither does Norris. Neither does fucking Tkachuk. Loves it because, and the reason why he's the heart and soul of the team is because the focus is on him because it's a shit team and he knows it. So he loves that. It's all for him. And he's going to get big bucks again the next contract because of everything that he does for the team. But what they don't see is because the team is only fucking 2 lines deep at best, and they have 3 solid defensemen. Don't get me wrong. They got 3 solid defensemen, but they're not physical. They're puck moving. They're fast. They're skilled. They're not fucking physical. They don't have that kind of a team, and they're getting beat up. They're not a big team. So they're not to have these expectations of the Ottawa Senators. I think is out to lunch. No offense, boys, but they're 2 lines deep at best, and they're not going to be a playoff team unless they make a wholesale fucking change. ASA fucking P.
They shouldn't be doing this bad though, Jay. Like, I'm not saying they're going to win the Stanley Cup. Like, I hope that Ottawa never wins the Stanley Cup, seriously, because I just don't like the franchise. But I really think that their fans deserve better, just like the Leaf fans deserve better. They truly do. But they just don't have it. They don't have it. But I really, on paper, I thought they looked pretty good this year. And I thought they'd make an improvement, maybe make the playoffs, lose first round kind of thing. But that's not even going to happen. I just hope that they turn it around for their fans and start putting in an effort, because some nights they play great against teams that they shouldn't even beat. They beat them. And then other nights they just shit the bed, and it's like the worst hockey I've seen. I'd rather watch OHL, and that's why I've got the Moncton Wildcats jersey on from the Q and the London Knights. We'll talk about these boys here in a second, but we'll throw it over. We'll keep it going. I wanted to comment on Connor Bedard and also Chicago. It's rough in Chicago too. They're having a terrible year, but they just don't have the team. So it's kind of expected, especially with Connor Bedard now being out for another 6 weeks. What do you guys think about the hit? I didn't think it was dirty hit, but why hit a kid like that? Like, why go after, the 18-year-old? Like, do you really want to take that kid out of the league? Do you really want to hurt that kid? Because like, it was a hit to the head. It was a big hit. He's a small kid. It's kind of like he could potentially, and I'm not saying that he's going to be, but he could potentially be the next Connor McDavid or the next Wayne Gretzky, potentially. He's got that much talent. Why run a kid like that? Like, I just don't get it. And it really pissed me off. I think the guy's last name's Smith that made the hit. And I saw it. I'm just like, it's not a dirty hit, but why do it in the first place? It's like, who cares? We're playing against Chicago. Like why make a fucking run at a fucking 18-year-old? Like, you're a fucking dick. Like, you really are, straight up. Like, break a guy's fucking jaw. Like, now he's eating through a fucking straw. Like, that's fucking pretty fucking brutal. Like, fuck you, man. Like, the guy's a great hockey name. He brings so many fans to the game now this year. People that didn't like hockey are liking hockey now because it's Connor Bedard. It's the Bedard show. But now we can't watch the Bedard show. Now he's not going to be in the All-Star game. Now he might not even win the Rookie of the Year because he's going to be out for so many weeks. Like, that really fucking pissed me off. Like, that hit. Like, why make that hit? Why go after that kid and make that hit on that play? It just makes no fucking sense. Like, maybe little Abad-check him, but don't fucking break his fucking jaw. Like, I just thought it was absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, the Chicago struggling. Now they're going to struggle even more. When you've got an 18-year-old that leads your team with 33 points, you're having a bad year. And it's a rebuild for these boys. And, when Nick Foligno is one of your best players in your team, you're having a fucking bad year. It's rough there. They got Mrazek, but and then Soderblom, and they're both over 3 goals against average. It's just been a rough year for Chicago. And you know what? Fuck them. Like, seriously. Like, Chicago, they've had their years. It's time for them to rebuild right now. They got the Connor Bedard show. But again, I don't like that hit. I think it was a little bit aggressive. It wasn't a dirty hit. but I don't like it. I don't like it. We'll comment real quick on this. Nose, what do you think, man? What are your
Did you
thoughts on
like the hit,
Chicago and
Jamie? Tell
Connor
us how
being?
you really feel. Did you like the hit? Tell us how you really. Yeah, I know it was.
I'm not holding back, man.
It was unnecessary for sure, and that guy's gonna be forever known as the guy who put out Connor Bedard. He's not gonna be known for whatever else. He's a bum, and he put out Connor Bedard for 12 weeks. One of the best players. Like, you just don't do that to those players. That just doesn't happen. It's like Mitch Marner could have been splatted like a bug so many times when I'm watching the Leaf games. And guys just don't do it because Mitch Marner doesn't hit like that. Connor Bedard doesn't hit like that. There's a certain unwritten rule and there's a level of respect, and that guy stepped into the kid, and it's not good for the game. It's just not. And this is the game that this bum plays. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one, Jamie. Like,
yeah, let's give him a big awful. Fuck you. Seriously.
And 6 weeks
fuck you before.
with a broken jaw and like to come back from that, like you're gonna lose weight. You can't eat, you can't chew. Like, that's a fucking. I remember even just getting hit in the mouth. I bite my tongue. I can't eat for a couple days. I got, like, I mean, like, this is like, can't even talk. It's a shit time for the kid, man.
There's
shit.
This guy's only played like 4 games all year, I think. Smith. He's and like, there hasn't been very many games anyway. I'm not too sure how many, but it's not very many. And there was I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a guy that used to play, I believe, for the Leafs. His last name was McCreary, and knocked out Wayne Gretzky and never played another game in the NHL. So, he's now a referee, or was, or I think he still is. He still
Tim McCurry? Tim McCurry?
Yeah. So I you don't bite the hand that feeds you. I get that. However, you put your fucking helmet on, keep your fucking head up, and you fucking watch. It's a fucking physical game. If you I don't fucking have any fucking problem with you stepping up on a guy that's on the other team. He's making fucking how many $1 million a year, or is going to be making how many $1 million a year? He's already making millions, let's face it, but he's not making in fucking on his as far as his salary is concerned. He's making in fucking TV revenues and whatever else, and sponsorships and whatever the fuck else. So I don't give a shit. You put your fucking helmet on, you keep your head up, and don't think that because you're who you are that somebody's not going to fucking hit you. You deserve the same treatment as everybody else. I've never been a big fan of treating, that's why there's guys out there like, back in the day, like Semenko and McSorley and fucking, Probert and whatever, to fucking protect these dudes so that shit doesn't happen. Well, if you're not going to put forward a fucking couple extra bucks to have a couple guys like that on your team to protect your fucking player, then that shit's going to happen. It should be expected. That's just the way I think. I don't agree.
Damn
I
right.
don't agree. You don't need to fucking hammer a guy. I don't think
he didn't mean to do it.
No.
I don't think he meant to.
But you still don't make that hit. You just don't. You don't hit that kid. You don't hit that kid like that.
You still hit him. You still fucking hit him. Rub him out. You don't have to fucking kill him. There's no doubt about it.
I don't think he meant to catch him in his
fucking
jaw. And there's a size difference. There's an obvious size difference there. That plays into it quite a bit. And like I played some pretty good hockey. I'm not. And I played some physical hockey. I played some pretty physical teams in my day. And I'm only 5'7" on skates. I'm 5'9", 5'10". I'm playing against guys. I played against guys that are 6'2", 6'3", that I'm running my face into their shoulder. They're not even super tall. I played against guys 6'7", 6'8", and I come up to their tits. How tall is Bedard? Like 5'11"?
Not even. He's a short kid. He's like 5'9".
Yeah. So you're talking like that plays into it as well. And who knows? He loses a little bit of footing or whatever, off balance a little bit when he gets to the hit. It just adds to it. I only saw the part that I saw. You're only seeing the upper body. I only looked at it just before the show. And, I didn't really see the feet. So I didn't know, I didn't really see how his body was that well. But yeah, to me, I just think there's no, you put the helmet on, Your head should be on a swivel at all times. And yeah, it's unfortunate. And again, this guy's going to pay the price. He's 34 or 35 years old. This Brendan Smith guy, he's probably just not going to play again. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I
Yeah.
think so too. I did want to say though, I think that Connor Bedard will learn his lesson though. Because before the beginning of the year, I thought he had a problem with keeping his head down. I think he's going to really learn his lesson, and now he's going to skate with his head up. He's going to watch out for these type of plays and really hopefully protect himself a little bit better because, like you said, there's nobody on the team to protect him, so he's got to protect himself. So Connor Bedard, shout out. All the best. I hope that you feel better soon, man. We miss you in the show. We really do. But let's talk briefly about who's lighting the lamp. We're halfway through the year. Let's talk about who's lighting the lamp real quick here and talking about the top players in the league. MacKinnon just having a year with Colorado and really making a run for it. 26 goals, 51 assists, 77 points. Kucherov, the age that he is and still putting up 76 points halfway through the year. Oh my God. 28 goals, 48 assists. And really, Tampa Bay, they're a good team, but wow, 48 helpers on that team. He's a talented guy. Pastrnak, 30 goals, 37 assists, 67 points. JT Miller, 21 goals, 42 assists, 63 points. Panarin, having a good year too. 28 goals, 34 assists, 62 points. Pettersson, right up there, 25 goals, 36 assists, 61 points. This is why I brought this up, and let's watch this. So number one guy on the Leafs, number 7 in the league, Nylander, 23 goals, 38 assists, 61 points. Ratinen, now 26 goals, 34 points, 26 goals, 34 assists, 60 points. Connor McDavid up there, 16 goals, 43 assists, 59 points. Sam Reinhart, 34 points, 24 assists, 34 goals, 24 assists, 58 points. Quinn Hughes up there too, 57 points. Austin Matthews, number 2, top of the league. He's got 38 goals, 18 assists, 56 points. Cal McCarr, 10 goals, 44 assists, 54 points. Number 3 for the Leafs at 14, Mitchell Marner, 20 goals, 31 assists, 51 points. Now, let's transition because I wanted to just throw that out. We've got 3 Leafs in the top 12 scoring of the whole fucking league, and this team still can't fucking win. What the fuck, Leafs? Wake the fuck up. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of going on a road trip and fucking losing. I am so sick of winning the first period and coming out in the second and playing a decent second period and then shitting the fucking bed in the third period. I am sick of it as a fan. We've got to get a good goalie. We've got to trade Mitch Marner because seriously, we've got to let somebody go, and that's the guy, and get a solid defenseman and get a goalie for him at a young age, like at the end of his contract. We've got to do something here because obviously with what all the great shit that we've got, we still can't win fucking consistent hockey games. We should be top of the fucking league. We have 3 of the best fucking scorers in the whole 12 top players of the league, and we're not even winning our division. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I've had enough as a Leaf fan. I am now a freaking London Knights fan. That's who I'm watching. You know why? Because they got 14 wins in a row, and they've actually got a good coach. They've got Dale Hunter that's proven himself and dominated the OHL over my whole lifetime. Why not throw $10 million at this guy and say, hey, we need a good coach. Leave the London Knights and come and coach our hockey team. Because Keith obviously has lost this room. The road trip has been fucking terrible. What brings teams together? Road trips. Has this brought our team together? No, it hasn't. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm done. I'm so done, and I'm not going to watch the Leafs, seriously, until they win 3 games in a row. Not going to watch them for the rest of the year until they prove that they can win a fucking hockey game. Because they win the first period every night. and they don't play 60 minutes. I am so sick of it. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to watch OHL hockey. I'm going to watch the Q because these kids actually care about their team. They actually care about the outcome of these hockey games. These guys get paid huge contracts and don't do anything. William Nylander gets handed $11 million a year, and what has he done? He's shit the bed since then. I am so sick of this. Dylan, what do you think about our terrible Leafs?
Boy, I tell you, man, that's yeah, I'm gonna have to recommend every Leaf fan goes and signs up for a yoga class because that's probably the only thing that's keeping me zen right now when I'm watching this team. And there's a few other things. I looked at a couple of stats under Sheldon Keefe in the last 4 years. After they went on a 4-game losing streak or 4 or 5 game losing streak, they came back with like a 15-4-3, like they had 15 or so wins in 20 games. So I'm still a believer in this team in a lot of ways. I know losing sucks and we've lost a lot of games that we shouldn't have lost, but when I watch these games and you go back to what Mitch Marner said the other day where he's talking about how, you know, they played good hockey. They're playing, and I feel like they're still playing good hockey. I feel like their defense has got better. I feel like they've incrementally gotten better. They need a little bit from Bertuzzi and Domi. They had a lot from Tavares at the beginning of the year when they were winning games. Tavares has let us down a little bit in the last 9. He hasn't scored in about 9 or 10 games. So that's tough, especially on the power play. So maybe that's up to Keith to switch up the power play. I don't necessarily love Keith as a coach in terms of passion, in terms of motivation. Maybe he's a good X's and O's guy. So keep him on the bench as a secondary, as a backup coach, and bring a guy in that can get the team fired up, because that's a lot of coaching comes, especially a team like that has talent. You're not telling guys what to do. They know what to do. You need to give them confidence to do it well. I like Benoit. I like the defense. Liljegren's back. Like Riley scored a beauty goal going end to end the other night. I just feel like one of the things they're doing a little too much is they're getting away from the fundamentals. They're not making the easy passes. They're trying to find the seams, score the fancy goals, the highlight reel goals. Like, you got to crash and bang in this league, especially as we go down the stretch and into the playoffs. The crashing and banger goals are the ones that are going to get the job done, because teams play differently. They play defensively. I mean, I know it's a shitty comparison, but when my men's league team plays a team that I know is terrible, like the other night, and they beat us 2-1, and we're like way more talented and had ace chances, but they just outworked us, or they just were so bad at hockey that you're trying to anticipate what these guys are doing, and you can't, because they're falling or they're going one way, or you fake and they just don't even move on the fake. You know, so I feel like there's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of bad puck luck. Like, for crying out loud, Nylander hits a post, hits a crossbar, and hits the other post in overtime, and then the other team goes back and scores. I can't remember who that was against. It was a few weeks ago. It's like stuff like this is happening. Pucks are going off asses, off skates. The goals that are going in are terrible. They are working with Sammy. You know, talk to me 3 weeks ago, and I'd be like, why does this team have such a boner for Samsonov? I still think that. But at the end of the day, like, we've got Wall coming back. We've got Jones. Yep. There is some
light at the end of the tunnel.
There's some light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you. Yeah, this team, and we still have 41 games left. We have an all-star break coming up. Mitch Marner hasn't been the player he usually is. John Tavares, you know, you want to talk. We talked about a lot on this show today about leadership. and guys who can lead. Like I don't see John Tavares as one of those voices that's gonna pick up the team and motivate them. Yeah, very passive. And he's not leading by example right now either. And the one thing about John Tavares, I think he needs to do some soul searching right now as he ages. I think he's frustrated. He's down on himself. He feels like he needs to be that goal scorer. He needs to evolve his game. He needs to go to Toronto's one of the richest teams, man. They've got all kinds of sports psychologists. They go all kinds of like buffer support. If Tavares needs to go and talk to somebody and be like, okay, I'm not scoring goals. How can I help this team? Because I'm not helping on the scoreboard. So, throw someone else on that power play. There's so many things that they need to tweak. And I'm not throwing in the towel by any means. I understand the frustration. I understand the anger. And for a while in the last couple of weeks, I was like, is this team even going to make the fucking playoffs? Like, what's going on here? But we got half a season left here. Let's just take some breaths, fucking meditate, do whatever we got to do. Just chill the fuck out and, let this team, find itself again.
I need something more. I need some like heavy narcotics or something to calm down. Because I tell you,
where's Brandon when you need him?
Tough time. I've had a tough fucking time with this team, man. And I wish it the best. I'm a huge Leaf fan. I'm going to give it to J-Dog here in a minute, but I wanted to say, like, man, like maybe Tavares needs to hand the C over, because who really is the truthful fucking leader on this team? Matthews, hands down. Has 50 freaking blocks and 50 points, basically. He's the leader on this team, and he's the one, I guarantee, that fires up his team in the dressing room. So hand the C over. Say, hey, my time's done. Let's give it to.
Well, that's the thing, Jamie. They've been playing well defensively, and Jay, I'm sure you're gonna touch on this too. Like, they have been playing better defensively, and they have added the pieces defensively. Giordano's back. They've got a good D-core. It's going to turn around. It's going to turn around.
Get it done. Well, they better.
Yeah, it's
better.
The puck luck,
better.
man.
Because
I'm telling you, it's the puck luck. They just they're getting 40 shots a game. They got 40 shots a game against who was that? It was
Vancouver.
On the Western Road.
They outshot Vancouver by 12 shots.
They're all over it. They're all over it. So
yeah, it's just been tough to watch, man, because I'm just such a diehard fan and I want the best for this team. But I want to hear from J-Dog for sure, because he's a diehard too, and he's got the channels now. He's been watching. Jay, what do you think about the Leafs, man? Honest opinion, don't hold back.
It's a two-end sport. You need to play in both ends, and I don't think they're playing well enough in the defensive end. They're not an extremely skilled defense core. I'm liking this Benoit kid. He at the start of when they first got him, I wasn't sure, but I'm starting to like him. He plays physical. He'll fight for the team. He actually moves the puck fairly well. And you look at his partner passes are tape to tape, and you can't ask for anything more out of a guy that's like, well, he's obviously one of the newer guys on the team as well. But as far as that's concerned, like, he's the only physical defenseman they have. TJ Brody has given up the puck too much. Giordano has had some, well, you talk about bad puck luck. He's had, I think, 3 or 4 goals go in off his skate in the last, or his leg or his stick or whatever, in the last like 5 games that he's played. So he's not playing the way he should have been, but he's or should be playing, because he feels he needs to step up and start playing more physical. He got in that fight there like last month. That's not his style of game. So he's off the way he plays. He's a stay-at-home defenseman. He's got a good shot, and he's good at blocking shots, and he's good at puck takeaways. Well, he has none. That's something that he's been very good at his whole career. So he's lost a step. Riley is not playing physical at all, even though he's playing pretty well. I can't knock Riley too much. He's been playing pretty good. But as far as the team itself, as far as the forwards are coming back in, they're not like, I have to give Marner credit. The game against Vancouver, he blocked a few shots. That was surprising. Scored a nice goal. But his game has been playing a hot dog, fucking making these crazy passes, no look, fucking thinking he's on the basketball court, bullshit, and it's cost them. He's given up the puck so many times at crucial times during the fucking game. In every game he gives up the puck 3 or 4 times at crucial parts of the fucking game. And to me, he should be gone. And he will be a fucking nightmare to play against. There's no doubt. Doesn't matter where he is. He's an extremely high-skilled player. And the only thing is, he needs to play on a team where he shouldn't be counted on. He should be a second-line player that's going to score you a lot of goals and get you a lot of assists. There's no doubt. But you shouldn't have to depend on him for that. You know, like it should be happy to have, but not be the guy you're depending on it for. And he could bring two, like I said this in a stream that you and I were both on, Jamie. I believe he could bring in a two. You're not going to get 2 defensemen from one team, but you could do a multi-team deal that would bring in 2 $4 to $5 million fucking stud defensemen, and this team would be a whole different look. You know, it would be a whole different look. You don't need to change anything up front. There's nothing. Robertson's coming along fucking great. Nylander, really I disagree with you, Jamie. He is not playing as well defensively. He gets back, but he doesn't do anything when he gets back. That's the thing. He was standing in front of the net for a goal the other night, and I'm like, dude, your guy's right there, and you do nothing for it. However, he scores.
Oh, he had a huge gap, Jay. He had a huge gaff on. Was it a shorthanded goal where he was the last guy back and he shot the bed and they lost that team? That was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
man, like,
it's tough to watch Nylander, man.
Kills me.
He's scoring when they need scoring. That's who's scoring. You know, like he's scoring at will right now if he gets a chance. And the beauty part is the amount of shots that he's taking. Marner is not shooting the puck like he should be. Matthews is the only guy on that team that's shooting all the fucking time, but you're giving it to him all the time. So the team's not getting the opportunities because they're honing in on Matthews because they give him the puck every fucking time. You know where it's going. It's just like Ovechkin. Ovechkin, you know what? He's going to break Gretzky's fucking scoring record, but that's because he's going to stay in the league because he's one of the fittest dudes in the league. He's going to stay in the league for another 5 fucking years. You know, it's not because he's going to score 100 goals every year.
I feel like we're the Leafs are like the Washingtons of old when Ovi was lighting it up, getting 70 goals a year.
Yeah,
and couldn't make the playoffs or got in the playoffs and got booted out for winning the President's Trophy and then got booted out. Like, I feel like that was
but they're not physical. At least Washington's always been physical. This team, I will say, the Vancouver game, they started playing a little bit more physical. But when Myers started throwing his body weight around, it changed the fucking tone of the game again. And that's the problem. They don't have any. But Benoit is probably the only guy that plays physical on this team. I honestly believe Revo's been sitting on the fucking bench for a long fucking time. He is a minus fucking player. There's no fucking doubt. 4 minutes. That's all he gets. Man. 4 minutes. Give him fucking 4 minutes. He only gets 3 minutes normally, but fucking give him 4 minutes at the start of the fucking game when it doesn't matter. Set the fucking tone. Get him out there. It doesn't matter. The Leafs can score 6 goals a game in 2 periods. We've already seen that. We know that. So why not put him out there for 4 or 5 minutes in the first fucking period? Set the fucking tone physically. We're going to send him out again if you fucking guys want to fuck around and find out. But in the meantime, after, you know, let that physical tone and bring up, they got 2 kids on the fucking Marlies that are fucking nasty. I can't remember the names. I'm sorry, but I'm thinking right now. But bring up those 2 kids. Same thing. Let some physical. Throw them out there in a game against, it doesn't matter who, you know, against a shitty team. But give them some fucking time, some physicality. Let the league think there's a little bit of a different look there. And then they're going to
They got the Sens coming up February 10th. So that might be a good day to do that, to bring up the couple kids to give them a chance, Jay. I love your thinking, though, man. I want
to say
they're
one more thing.
They're still a dangerous team.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to say one more thing about Samsonov. The reason why they keep going back to Samsonov is because he's a fucking $5 million, $4 million, $5 million, whatever the fuck they give him, $5 million goalie. They know that he's not their goalie anymore. They know that. But they're still in a playoff race, okay? There's still 40 games left in the fucking season, and they want to get this guy mentally back in it, at least enough where they can get something for him. So I think the 6'7" fucking kid that I can't remember what his name is either.
Hildebeest.
Thank you. I think he deserves a chance. I think he absolutely deserves a chance. He covers so much net. He's going to stop fucking pucks that most goalies
He's
are
like
not.
a Vasilevsky. His style
Yeah,
is Vasilevsky.
He's huge.
And I've watched a couple of the games that he played in. He's actually fucking physical. When guys get in front of him, he's not afraid to move them the fuck out. And that's one of the biggest problems that they have. Their goaltenders, like, I like Jones. I don't think there's anything wrong with Jones. He had a bad night the other night, but a couple of bad deflections. But I think he's a good enough goalie to help them win. But he's not a goalie that's going to get them to the fucking final. So you need to do something. Wall's not there yet. He's another 2 years away from being a go to the final type goalie. He needs some time in the NHL. I think he's a great goalie. I think he's going to be a really good goalie. But I'd still like to see this Hildebeest kid fucking. I think he's going to be something else.
Give him a fucking chance. Like,
They brought him up. Why wouldn't they fucking play him? Why bring him up there? Why bring him up for a game and sit him on the fucking bench? Give
him a start. Give him a start against Ottawa. Throw him in against Ottawa. You got nothing to fucking lose. Literally, you're going to win against Ottawa.
I love Shanahan my whole life. I fucking wish he.
They're just going to burn Jones out. They've already burned him out because he didn't do so well in the last couple of games.
There's some bad, like you said, there was some bad puck luck, couple deflections, two goals.
Tip goals.
Two goals in each game. Not much you can do about that. Like bad deflections. Now, in saying that, if he's 6'7", he's not getting fucking goals going over his shoder. You know what I mean? Even if he's on his knees. And that's where they were going. Like, he had two bad ones over his shoulder. That one that Hogland, how do you say his name for Vancouver? Hoglander or whatever. That one that he was like going this way and shot right while he was going left. Like, that was a beauty shot. But if he was upright and had his shoulders square, not even a chance.
Jones isn't small. Sure. Jones is like 6'4" or 6'3", isn't he?
Yeah, but he plays when he's on his knees. He doesn't play that upright square. No. He's always got his stomach bent. He's like he's not have his shoulders up.
He's older. He doesn't have the core. He doesn't have the strength. Hildebeest is a young guy. He's stronger. He can do that.
Yeah, we definitely want to maybe give a kid a chance. And I think the Ottawa game would be the game to play him in upcoming here shortly. But that's the Leafs. I hope that they turn it around because it's been ugly to watch. And I'm just getting sick and tired of this team not showing up for hockey games for 3 periods. It's just getting tough to watch. I watch every single one, and it's been tough. So I'm gonna take a break. They win 3 straight. I'm right back at it. But until then, I'm watching London Knights. I'm watching the Moncton Wildcats. I'm watching the kids that love to play the game. But got to give it a shout out. We haven't done it yet. Let's give them a shout out. The Women's National Hockey League has started this year, and I wanted to give them a shout out. I watched a couple games.
The PWHL. It's the PWHL.
Oh, professional. Okay, well, whatever. The Women's National Hockey League. We'll just leave it at that. But you're right. The PWHL. You're right. I just wrote it wrong.
Professional Women's Hockey League.
Anyway, they're exciting to watch, and it's a lot of fun. And you know what? I've got a young daughter at home that loves to skate, that wants to play hockey. And you know what? If the girls are on the ice and you can bring your daughter to the game and get them inspired in a sport that you love, for a guy that's got a daughter at home, I'm all thumbs up for it. I think it's amazing. I hope the league does well. It looks like they're packing the houses. They're selling tickets. I'm really happy for them. They deserve a venue to play hockey, to play the game they love. They're very talented. They're even playing rough. Like, it's good, rough, hard-nosed hockey. These girls are out to win games. I love it. And any team, like they're all great. And I watch the highlights all the time. Like, they're playing well, and it's really inspiring to see. And for a guy that's got a daughter at home, I just absolutely love it. So a thumbs up from Keep Your Head Up Hockey. Thanks so much for breaking the ice with this league, and I hope it's here for a long, long time to come. I really do. Dylan, do you want to touch on that, or do you want to move on and close the show?
Yeah, real quick. I'm pretty excited about it too. I've got 2 nieces in minor hockey. My brother is a huge hockey guy like I am in the minor hockey system, raising girls. And if I ever have a daughter or had a daughter, I would put her in hockey, and it's good for women, and it's just such a great sport. So I'm happy to see that. I think back to the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver, and that was one of the pinnacle moments for women's sports in my mind when they won the gold medal. And like they had millions of viewers watching that, and it was unbelievable hockey. It was exciting. It was back and forth, and it's only going to get better for the PWHL as the players get better. Things like this will inspire players. Just wait, mark my words, wait till there's a generational talent that comes through. Wait till there's some young girl growing up watching this being like lights out, like every game, dipsy doodle dangle, the Wayne Gretzky of the PWHL. That's going to be something that's really going to grow that game in a large way, in a commercial way. Look at the women there. They're only making, I think, the highest paid players probably in the 80 to 100K range. Most of them make 50K. They're only playing 25 games this year. So, they've got a lot of growing pains to go through, but they're getting the viewership. They're getting the attendance. They're going to get the sponsors. People like watching it. I like watching it. I think it's an entertaining thing. I hope it's not just a novelty for these people, that people will continue to watch it. Obviously, I don't, like you guys, don't have time to watch a lot of sports. We watch our football and baseball and whatever else. But I like what they're doing. I think the original 6 theme that they did with the jerseys, the way they did it is really cool. I think I heard something that next year they're gonna actually have they're gonna choose nicknames for the teams, so each team will have a nickname. The game is there's lots of expectations that the game will grow in different markets. I think Philly is going to be one of them. I think there's a few other areas or cities in the core, real hockey, true hockey cities that will have teams in this league will grow. And I'm excited for it, man. And I'm excited for, you know what? And it's rough. They let shit go. It's a lot. Like it's grittier. It's not like the international rules, which is a little more cheesed up. This is like hard, a little more hard nosed Canadian style hockey, getting gritty, getting dirty, rock 'em, sock 'em. And these women, they're giving her out there. It's fun to watch.
Jay, any comment, man?
Yeah, I'm going to say a couple things, and a couple of them are going to be controversial. But
it's fine, let it flow, yeah. Bro. Don't hold back on this show.
I've been coaching women since I was 16 years old. I started off with my girlfriend's baseball team or fastball team. I support women's hockey. I support women's sports. I support. However, the one thing that I'm having a hard time with is this. The world has changed, and you're listening to some of these soccer players, and we need to make as much money as, we need to be this person, basically fuck men, and that's some of the attitude that we're getting, and a lot of man hate with some of the women's sports. And what women don't understand is if you don't have men supporting your fucking sport, you're not going to fucking have any support at all. And you need to smarten the fuck up as far as supporting men supporting you. When a man says something that maybe you don't like, but yet he's supporting your sport, by fucking telling him, oh, you're an asshole for saying that, you've now just lost him and probably his friends. They're not going to go to the games anymore. They're not going to, having and excluding men as far as coaches are concerned. That is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever met and thought in my life, because most women that are in hockey do not have a lot of years of coaching. Not saying that there's all, but there's not a lot of years. There's not a lot of depth there. Hockey for women is still in its infancy, no matter what way you look at it, because it hasn't had the support that it should. And it should have the support, because I love women's hockey. It's fucking fun. And you know what? Women are much easier to fucking coach They're like sponges. They don't have the.
I know that there's young girls
do.
on my son's teams right now.
Yeah, I love
and
it.
It's
I love coaching.
They listen to me. They actually listen where the other little some of the other little guys. I won't say it, but they're like
exactly.
refused.
So I'm gonna say if they stop with this, like there's a difference between equality and equity. There's a difference between women's lib and women's lip, and that's a fucking shitty thing to say or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Because there's a difference between women that are trying to do better for the sport, and then there's a difference and like do better in general than just to fucking listen to them talk. Some of them just want to listen to themselves talk, like I'm doing right now. However, I'm not trying to push something for me. I'm not trying to push something that you need the other half of the fucking population to fucking support you. You wonder why you're not getting the money, you're not getting the attention. Support your own fucking teams. You don't go out to fucking women's games like you go out to fucking men's games. There's a reason for it. Men's games are usually more entertaining. There's no doubt. However, the women are getting so much better, and so like there's some skilled fucking women out there and some physical fucking women out there that are very entertaining to watch. And I fucking love it. I absolutely do. And I coached in the military. I coached to 2 nationals in the military with the women's team that I was coaching, the Atlantic team. I had some of the best hockey players in Canada on that team, like female hockey players. And the attitudes when I first got there, and oh fuck, we got a guy, like attitude. Like I felt it when I first got there. I felt it. It was like, there's that feeling where you're just being like the eyes just glaring at you, like they're like the man hate was there. It took some time for them to realize that I was there to fucking make them better. I was there to give as much knowledge as I possibly could. And there's fucking many people out there, many guys out there like me that are willing to help, but you can't shit on them when they say something. Okay, fine, say something, but take somebody aside. The one thing I'm seeing is there's so much calling out of men by women in women's sports in front of everybody and trying to embarrass men in front of everybody, and that kind of shit has to fucking stop. We're all here for the same reason, the love of sport, not fucking politics. Keep your fucking political bullshit out of fucking sports. I know it's hard because it's a business, but this fucking shit, our country in Canada has to fucking change. It's swung so far fucking left, and this craziness of words are offensive. Yes, words are offensive, but they're not fucking, they're like, I'm hearing they're dangerous and they're fucking, they hurt people physically. If words hurt you physically, you need to see a fucking doctor. I'm fucking sorry, but there's something else wrong with you other than fucking the obvious things, because it's just the mentality's so fucked right now. Our country, people are fucking laughing at us, and it's why I moved. It's a big reason why I'm in the Dominican. I've been to 27 different fucking countries, man. 27. Our country, the United States and England and a couple other European countries are so far fucked mentality-wise that, and I hate bringing politics into this, but this is the problem. They brought politics into sports, and it's fucking the sports. People are doing all these individual sports now. Team sports, people don't do them anymore. Like, it's hard to get full teams, especially in small cities now, because there's so much political bullshit that goes on. Good parents, good coaches, good people don't want to be involved anymore because of the fucking politics of this fucking left-wing bullshit. And I'm so sick and tired of it. And I don't give a flying fuck about what anybody else says.
Let's keep it about the hockey is kind of what I think Jay means. And you know what? On the ice, the women can bring it, and it's great to see. But keep the politics out of it. Let's just play hockey. Let's enjoy the boys. Let's enjoy the girls. We both can play the game. And that's what it's all about, is this PWHL, is that the girls can play too, and they've been bringing it, and they've been doing a great job. So just wanted one more shout out real quick. We're going to end the show here quickly, but a big shout out to the London Knights, 14 wins in a row, killing it. Go Knights, go. My hometown in London, Ontario, now live in New Brunswick. But gotta love to see it. Dale Hunter bringing the heat, and these boys can play. So really nice to see. Another huge favor. I got to ask you, if you've watched the show, it's an hour and a half, 40 minutes long. You've reached the end of it. You're a fan. So please do us a major favor. Tell your friends about the show. Let's grow this thing. We want to really do a big, good job here, and we're different. We bring it. We don't hold back. We call it like it is. Smash that like button on Facebook. Smash that like button on YouTube. Definitely subscribe to the show. But share the show on your social media as well. Please, weekly. Let's grow this show. Have it in a conversation. You're sitting down with your friends, having a beer, be like, hey, you know what? There's a really good show. It's called Keep Your Head Up Hockey. You can search Keep Your Head Up Hockey show on YouTube and find it. Do that for us. Please grow this show. We want more viewers. And you know what? I'm going to throw it out here. Next show, if we can get 20 live people, the 20th comment on this show from a 20th different person, I'm going to send you personally $20. $20 for you, and I want you to put it on a pro line for the NHL. So next show, all right, tune in live, and I want you to be the 20th unique person to comment whatever you'd like, and the 20th person gets an e-transfer from me after the show. $20 in your pocket. I want to grow this show. We deserve more people watching it, and to be honest, we're having some massive guests come up, so we got to get some more people watching this show because we love what we do here. We have fun with it, and really, let's grow this show the biggest it can be for 2024 and beyond because we're not going anywhere. We love this thing. So thanks for tuning in.
Just throw it on when you're in your car, when you're driving. 40 minutes to work and back. Come on, just give it something. Just do something different than the mainstream. Listen to the guys drinking beer, talking hockey. That's what it's all about. I love it. Love it,
we
Jamie.
Never hold back.
J-Dog.
Call it like it is. But thanks for being a fan. Thanks for staying with us. And thanks for tuning in. A big happy new year again from Keep Your Head Up Hockey. I'm Jamie. It's J-Dog and Coach Nose. We'll see you next time, next Tuesday. Oh, yeah. Forgot almost. Saturdays. Doing a live Leaf pregame show. Every Saturday, midday. It'll be on YouTube. But every Tuesday, 8 p.m., live on YouTube, we'll be back with the normal show. But again, Jamie, J-Dog, Coach Nose. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for tuning in.